High Level is a full CRM and marketing platform, and I've used some of the best in the SaaS industry. And we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. We've got 2 Twitches going because our guest tonight has 60,000 followers on his Twitch account. And we've got the Reveting _WW Instagram. But it's great to be back. Where is everyone tuning in from? Of course, this conversation is for you. I see there's at least one person on YouTube so far. It takes a minute for others to join. And we're growing on Spotify. Last month, I think it was 10,000 episodes that got downloaded just from Spotify. And then there's stuff happening on Apple Podcasts. So when you record a live stream, that's not the end game. You then distribute it to all these other platforms. But I digress because we have a lot to get into. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about StreamYard. So right now we're using StreamYard. And I'm a StreamYard affiliate, which is, selfishly why I want to tell you about it. But I became a StreamYard affiliate because I love it so much. We've basically built a whole business off of just using StreamYard and helping businesses go live on it. And you don't need an agency to help you go live. You can go live on your own. And, if that's something that you're interested in, I'm going to put a QR code up on the screen for StreamYard, and you can scan that. If you use my affiliate link, and feel free to, go to Reveting's page, click contact us, and reach out to us. I'll be happy to walk you through StreamYard if you're using my affiliate link, because then I get a cut on it every single month. And I found that with those 10,000 downloads that we got on Spotify last month, that people were hearing me talk about StreamYard and they were going to sign up for it in a big way, like businesses putting multiple users on it. And I could see that. So I want to make sure I'm still talking about StreamYard because this tool is awesome. I do love it. It's been under 2 acquisitions since we've been using it, and it's still going strong. And it just gets better and better. So check out StreamYard, use our affiliate link. And, during our intermission, we'll have a brief message from Cherry Assistant. And, I always like to plug High Level as well. And for that, you can just go to reveting.com/high level. But if you're looking for a CRM and marketing automation platform, you do not need to spend 4 figures a month anymore. We've white labeled High Level, so anyone who works with us gets an account. It's called app.reveting.com, but it's really just High Level under the hood. But if you're looking for a budget-friendly but robust CRM and marketing automation tool, check out High Level. Let me pop up that QR code as well if you're looking on video. And, it's only $97 a month. You get 3 accounts, so you can have one for yourself and then for your clients, or have 2 sandboxes. But yeah, you really can't beat the price anymore. But we have 2 really great guests, and I'm eager to bring them on stage. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's discussion. Welcome to the stage. We've got Rafe and Jonathon. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
Jessie L, let's do this.
Let's do it. Okay, I didn't really warn you as well as I normally do in pre-show that we like to know your full life story from birth to what brought you to now, without hearing the resume read off. We want to know the real you, the real juice. But only in 2 minutes. So we're going to put a 2-minute clock up on the screen. And if you could tell us your full life story, that would be awesome. What do you think, Rafe? Can you kick us off?
I think the operative word is blah, 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 but let's give it a roll. Grew up in northern New Jersey. I was involved in sales in some very pathetic industries. In fact, my first job, but this was in my late teens, early 20s. You go into a diner and you sit at the table and there is a placemat with all of these ads for local businesses. That's what I was selling. I was selling ad space on placemats. And it was pretty rough and tumble, but I learned some astounding lessons that I still apply every day in what I do. And starting there, I then got involved with, I owned a recording studio and I did DJing and I did some songwriting, and then I did uh, DJing on Sirius XM, and then I had a nationally syndicated radio DJ mix show, and I was a QVC host, and that all collapsed in the early 2000s, and then I started to try to figure out how I can get to work to begin a new career doing sales oriented recommendations and consulting. So I wrote an audio book on how to do that, and it became a top seller on Audible. And I then launched as a co-owner VC Inc. Marketing, and made the things that I discovered for myself available for enterprise clients. And then to keep myself from losing my mind during the pandemic, I launched a DJ mix show on Twitch, which runs every Thursday night, 8 to 10 p.m. EST. It's called Dance Interior Rewind. And it is a perfect example of how to please, thrill, and deliver for your customers. And I can talk more about that.
Oh, that's awesome. And of course, I want to hear about the Twitch page because that's super exciting. And we're streaming live on that Twitch page right now. So thanks for anyone tuning in who's usually used to getting like really cool DJ stuff. But today we're going to be talking about some other things. And also, you mentioned QVC, and so Reveting, we help businesses go live on LinkedIn, and our purpose of doing so is to help them build their brand so they can ultimately sell their products and services. And I think of QVC as like the OG live stream that is selling products, like literally like people do on TikTok now. It's like TikTok is QVC. So what a cool experience you had. Could you tell us just a little bit about that?
I was selling jazz CDs from 3 to 4 in the morning. And you think who is up at 3 or 4 in the morning to buy jazz CDs? 75,000 people were buying jazz CDs on QVC from 3 to 4 in the morning. And the size of the QVC studio, because they have multiple things going on at once, it's like several football fields all together, and in each of which, within there are all of these tiny little studios that are having these different shows. And when there are cooking shows, there's this massive amount of food that's been prepared, and then the show ends, and then it's put out for the crew to eat, and it's destroyed in around 5 seconds. So I just remember that I smelled steaks being cooked in the studio next to me, and I thought, oh my God, I can't wait till this is done so I can get some. It was history. It was just, you saw the fumes in the air. There was no steak left. So those are some fun memories of QVC.
Yeah, several football fields. That's definitely crazy.
Yeah,
okay, well, that's a little more than 2 minutes, but super exciting. Love your story. Thanks for sharing, Rafe. Jonathon, we're going to put that 2-minute clock back up there. Not that we paid attention to it last time.
Give this guy a little extra.
Yeah, tell us your full life story.
Thank you. And it's so great to be here. And also, this is a tough act to follow, Rafe, but I'll attempt this. So I started out in Winnipeg, Manitoba, also known as middle of nowhere. Moved out to the West Coast. My early career was as a journalist, covering human interest stories, community news. Gradually shifted to business and tech news. Did that for many years, but first as a sideline, then as consulting, and then ultimately more regular work. I shifted to marketing when a friend of mine happened to be a VP of marketing at a software firm called Absolute Software, and he was looking for somebody to write their press releases because they were sick and tired of their New York-based agency for whatever reason. And I said, well, look, I've been a journalist for many years at this point. I'd like to take a crack at it. I've seen 10,000 press releases. I think I can manage. And they liked that. I wound up writing more press releases, more and more website content, other kinds of content, newsletters, the whole gamut, and realized I had acquired a skill set that was useful for letting people know about your company's brand. And not only that, it paid better than journalism. I don't know if you've heard, but newspapers, magazines, the wages aren't exactly what you might hope for as a vanguard of the free press. But in any case, I switched over to marketing, then ultimately PR, and people think it's sorcery, kind of is, and they love it. So we love making people famous.
Yeah, I love it too. Well, I started my career as a press intern for Senator Durbin on the Hill. And so I like that was my first experience, and then kind of transitioning careers, and press was still always there, but like I don't know, was it maybe like 2015 we could put something out on the wire and it would actually like mean something, like it really had substance, or like you'd write a press release and they would like really actually pull it off their fax machine and like smell it and like read it. But like then like it kind of changed where it was like, nope, they're not going to pull anything off the fax machine. The wire is okay. It's still good. It's going to cost you a lot of money. You're going to get a couple links, but probably not TechCrunch. You're going to get like, you got to really have a relationship there. And now it's like completely different. So I can imagine if just as like a bystander, because I was always more of a marketer that kind of like dabbled in PR, and even still with what we do here is a little PR. We're bringing guests onto shows. We work with PR agencies, PR or publicists who are trying to get their clients on podcasts. But yeah, it's taken a lot of turns. I'd be curious, like in your career, like what do you think are the biggest changes you've seen in PR? Of course, we're getting into AI here soon, PR and AI. But like going back to when you first started, like what's the biggest change?
That's hard to say. I think I'm not sure what has changed. The fundamentals are still true. A creative pitch to the right reporter at the right time and being persistent about it will get you into the news if you do it enough and you do it well enough. What's changed? Maybe just the perception of PR. And I'll get into this a little bit in the next topic, but I think for a lot of years, PR was seen as a nice to have tool in your overall marketing toolkit. But for a lot of brands right now, because of the AI factor, it has become more of a must have. Certainly something to you should be exploring earlier, but I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that topic. Well, I can't wait to get into it. Let's just dive into our first topic, which is buyer focused leadership for business growth. And Rafe, this is your topic. Can you kick us off on this?
Sure. I'm going to read you a couple of stats. This is from CB Insights, which is a research firm. 9 of the top 20 reasons and 5 of the top 10 reasons why businesses fail, startups in particular, were related to customers, not meeting customers' needs, not listening to them, or even ignoring them. BBVA, another research firm, the biggest reason why businesses and startups specifically fail is they simply fail to offer a product or service the market wants. And then with Investopedia said the biggest reason is lack of research about their customers. Too many would-be entrepreneurs go into the market thinking they have a great service or product to offer, but they fail to realize that nobody wants that service or product. Now, I have worked with organizations and interfaced with startup owners, CEOs, and the mindset that many of them have who are not serious about what they're doing is look who I am, look where I went to school, look who's on our board of directors. We're awesome. We are all awesome. The customers, they will be lucky to purchase what we have to offer. So we're just going to keep being awesome and the market will find us. Well, I don't know about you guys. I've never bought anything based on who the startup owner is, where they went to school, who there's on their board of directors, or any of that stuff. The only reason why I have bought anything in my life is 3 reasons. And this dates back to my days selling uh, placemat ad space. And this is also true for everyone whoever opens their wallet in the world for the length that commerce has existed. There are three reasons why you would buy something: because a product or service will make you money, because it will save you money, or it will improve the quality of your life. That is it. And you can look back on everything you bought today, the past week, the past month, and it will fit into one or more of those categories. And so many startup owners and CEOs, even experienced ones, they do not understand this. They cannot grasp it. They cannot put themselves in the place of their buyer. In the what's in it for me is what the person is thinking who is looking to make a purchase or can be coerced into making a purchase. If you can't prove that what you're selling is fitting into those categories and you can deliver on those what's in it for me benefits, you will fail as a business owner. And Jonathon, I see you shaking your head. Yes, because I know you have bumped into, I'm sure, many, many, many people who make these mistakes, and you're probably going, my Lord, please just enlighten yourself, because this is not endemic to me. And Jesse, I'm sure you've experienced this as well. This is so common sense to us, but it is absolutely otherworldly information to so many professionals. And what do you guys think of all of this?
Well, I agree with everything you just said. I think the and I wish that buyers or consumers of all kinds were perfectly rational, logical creatures. I'm going to add, though, to what you just said. I think in most cases, like, you should be buying from someone on the basis of this product, it will get the job done quicker. It's cheaper. It's more durable. There's some kind of variable you're looking for that's based on reality. And so you buy on that basis. This is how you compete. So where PR comes into this is there actually is another way to compete. And this is for areas where it's difficult to distinguish where the dividing line is. Let's say you've got 3 or 4 offers from different companies that look like they could solve what you've got, but they've all kind of got comparable pricing. They've got comparable outputs, and it's like, okay, how do I make a decision? And in that case, actually, you might make a decision based on who you like more, or just, I know these guys, I've heard of them, so I'm more inclined to make the decision that way. It's not logical. It's probably not necessarily the smartest way to go, but if you're looking for a decision tree, then maybe that's a route, and that's sort of where PR gets added onto the mix. But I love how you summarized all that.
Well, I completely agree with you. Some people, myself included, can be taken in by a phenomenal pitch, but if that product or service fails miserably, I will never open my wallet for them again. So I can be taken in. I love being sold to and convinced with facts and figures and data, and that's that QVC thing. It's like you're overwhelming them with truth or as purporting it to be true and information. But if it sucks, it's like going to a movie where you're putting in your 2 hours and the ending is horrible. You are furious. You don't care about how great the acting was. You don't care about the special effects. If it doesn't have a payoff, you're livid.
100%. So I mean, maybe your go-to is or the next thing you want to discuss is sort of how a company or how a leader or leadership team discovers what the buyer wants, and maybe talking
Yep.
to them is a start. So I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
get into that.
Absolutely. You got to get
Well,
data, right? You got
you
to
have
get
to get
information on your
data.
customer.
And it's been said the most dangerous place to observe your buyer is through your office window. If you are not going out there and speaking to people and
Mhm.
interacting with them and learning from them and taking that information and then putting it into the development of your products and services and in the messaging about what you're selling to your prospects, this is not a one and done. It's not a got it, we're good. It's
Absolutely.
constant. It's forever. it's a search for a quest for perfection, but never quite touching it, because your consumers, your buyers' needs, goals, and tastes are always morphing. And if you think that you have figured it out and your job is done, there is a target on your back and an expiration date on your forehead, because somebody's going to come up from behind you and just smack you down. So I've seen that
That's right.
arrogance so
And
many times.
it's gonna be the person, not the smartest person in the room, but it's gonna be the person who shows up consistently. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And so
Right.
that's where PR really helps, right? Because we can get that message down, but also just invite them on a live stream and have a real conversation with them in front of an audience, and or, like, just be human and put yourself out there, and then your people will find you. Another thing
Yep.
I suggest is, like, go write, your audience, they might already be creating social media content. So just go write comments on their posts and make them feel seen, because people
Yep.
buy for emotional reasons. So if you can be that person. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty excited to help David Finkelstein with a post today that he made about LiveRamp being acquired by Publicis. And, it was my PR background that made me think, you know what, he's been having some slow days on posts. Let me go see what his audience is posting about. And let me see if I can take an angle on this that would be more unique to him. I want to transition with that into AI's impact on modern PR, because I absolutely have used AI to study his voice. And then I can go and ask my AI, what is an angle I can write on this? And so I'm sure there's other things that you could teach us here, Jonathon. How are you using AI, and what really is AI's impact on modern PR?
Okay, this is a topic near and dear to my heart. So AI's impact on modern PR. Let's start with how, all right, this is going to sound a little dystopian, but we're kind of operating in an environment where the AI thinks it's the 1980s. I'll explain what this means. Um, so I'm sure, as savvy business people and people with perhaps certainly a marketing background and a PR background, you may actually be more skeptical of news than your average human being. But your average human being is pretty skeptical of the news, or at least they were. The AI loves the news. The bigger the news, the bigger the news outlet, the older the news outlet. If you're Forbes, the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, or if you're a very focused industry trade publication that is respected, then the AI is going to love that, and they're going to cite that. In fact, 89% to possibly as high as 94% of citations that the AI uses to discover your company or include you in a search when somebody's looking for a particular product, 89% at least come from earned media now. So a lot of that's the news. News, some podcasts, press release, not the news wires, but a press release on your website can help a little bit. But mainly it's your inclusion in news, well-respected blogs, podcasts, that kind of thing. That's going to get you found in a way that wasn't as true even a few months ago. So you've probably heard of GEO effect. It's kind of the new SEO, although SEO is still SEO. It's still useful. It's just in a new Google where the search don't the links don't even show up anymore. That's their announcement from today. That's I'm sure going to be rapidly implemented. Being found in AI search is kind of everything now. So the objective here is, if you want your company to be discovered, AI PR is no longer a nice to have. It's a must have. You have to at least be exploring what is possible. I don't know if you have some thoughts or questions on that.
Absolutely. Rafe, do you have any thoughts before I share?
Yeah, I do, because sometimes I say to my clients, because in fact, we don't even refer to what we do as PR anymore. We call it sales support media coverage, because, like Jonathon had said, it's a lot of folks view PR as vanity, like something the Kardashians do to get wherever. But the thing that we say is, look, if you're not creating impressions and information in the media about the benefits that your offerings have, then all you're doing is promoting. You're just talking about yourself, and that's promotional, and people smell that a mile away, and they'll just laugh at it. But if it's in the media, now it needs to be taken seriously, because you have a third party organization that's saying, yeah, they're worthy of our attention. So the idea that PR isn't something that should be considered. Okay, well, your competition is going to consider it. If you're okay with that, then fine. If you do a Google search on all of your competitors and you see pages and pages of hits with their quotes or byline articles or news stories where they're mentioned, or videos where they're being interviewed, if you're cool with that, then that's great. But if you're not, then you need to start looking seriously at getting involved with that, because when you make that leap into sales support media coverage, you're not hyping yourself, you're not promoting your organization, you're helping your prospects learn about the benefits that your offerings can deliver for them. And that usually, in my experience, makes CEOs pause, because that's the space where they'd like to be. Not rah rah, but wow, yes, we would like to be informing and educating people about how what we do will improve their organization.
I'd love to get into some very brief practical examples of how that plays out. So, for example, a cybersecurity governance company that's looking to, protect companies, governments, private citizens. Um, when they get featured in the media, it's not going to be typically, a reporter is not going to ask, hey, what are your most popular products and what's the pricing? And how are you beating your competitors over the head with your awesome products? No, it's going to be something like, let's say, a big institutional organization gets hacked, or Sam Altman from OpenAI
Yep.
makes some crazy statement where everyone's like, but wait, what? How are we going to protect ourselves? And so a cybersecurity or security CEO can come in and say, well, look, this is wacky. Here's why. Here's what we would be doing. Here's how we would do it differently. So, and they leave the impression from that kind of interaction in many pieces where it's like, oh, this is the smart person. This is the responsible person in the room who
Yep.
knows what they're doing. And now I'm taking another look at their site. And you know what? I trust these people. They seem
Yep.
credible.
Yeah, because they were included in this article and none of the competitors that I've been considering were. So all of a sudden, it's okay. I've just moved closer to the cash register because this person who is just featured is making me feel very comfortable with what they have to say, and I love their point of view.
I love that I love that expression. We got them close to the cash register because it is a process. It's a pathway. Like you both will know, and probably your audience will know of the idea of the 7 points of contact
Yeah,
that a customer or buyer needs to have with your brand before they'll feel comfortable buying. And so this is, very simply. So maybe they'll see an ad, and then they won't think about you, but they'll notice you're in a podcast, and then they'll
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
notice they'll go to your website. Huh, that's interesting. And then they'll forget about you for a week or two. Then they see you in Forbes. Then they see you in Business Insider. Then they go back to your website and they're like, oh, you know what? I need this. I'm going to
yeah,
buy this.
yeah.
I trust these guys.
It,
So
we
it
we
takes.
we call it the sales funnel, where you start up here and you start narrowing it down and you end up here. But it's all based on trust, all based on credibility, value, perceived honesty, perceived delivery of the things that I need. And the best examples of that are mentions in the media, expressing your POV on topics that relate to my business and what I do every day. And if they align with what a prospective client or customer or buyer believe, they're going to be, goodness gracious, gosh darn it, I want to talk to this fella or this gal.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
like Jonathon said, if you're not doing this, good luck. Good luck
Good
if you're
luck.
not pursuing
Yes.
this. Yeah.
I'll
Yes, and
just
I
finish. Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
please
Jess.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Nope, I was just going to ask you to sum it up because we need to wrap up and move on to the next thing.
The final point I would say is just that it's not just about getting to Forbes, the Wall Street Journal. Podcasts are great. Other forms of media that may not get like 1 million hits, but it's like it gets 1,000 or even 150 hits, and it's the exact piece. It's the exact audience that you want. And plus, if it's a podcast, you're churning that out. You're sending that to your audience exactly. So this all helps. The AI sees that too.
AI sees it all, but that's why you need a human and have a human brand. We have 2 more topics to get into. The next one is going to be building customer-centric brand strategy, and then back into paid media versus earned media. I might even add in there some owned media, but other than that, we'll be right back after this brief message from Cherry Assistant. At Reventing, we help B2B founders, executives, brands turn their live streaming into a real revenue channel. One live stream turns into a podcast. It turns into a social clip. It turns into email content like a newsletter and actual sales conversations. You get to have a lot of conversations with people when you have a podcast or a live stream like this. And if you want to be known, trusted, and remembered in your industry, without being online 24/7, worrying about your posting, this is what we do. Just head on over to reventing.com and let's build your show.
I want to give a quick testimonial for the Reventing team. I was really nervous about doing lives. They very much have helped me increase my reach and online presence. So thank you, Reventing.
I love what you and the team do. I've been picking up 50 followers a day just because that content is resonating so well. It's working across a lot of different channels for me.
One of the problems that we struggle with is getting our brand out there. Her team have been able to do for us is the idea of going live on LinkedIn and using that platform to its fullest extent through the way they're able to take the live event and break it down into bite-sized posts, video clips, as well as the content within the posts themselves.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM and Go High Level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
Yes, be like Mike. And if you're listening on podcast audio only, we're showing a menu of services they offer, including but not limited to lead generation, CRM management, prospecting assistance, sales presentation preparation, data entry and cleanup, customer support, and project management assistance, and so much more. So just scan that QR code or just head on over to cherryassistant.com. And if you do, make sure you mention WinsDay for $250 off your first month. But let's get back into the topic. So topic number 3, building customer-centric brand strategy. Rafe, can you kick us off on this one?
I'll try. So one of the most effective ways that brand building can happen, as I've experienced it, is as a DJ. Not just me, any. whether when you're interacting with a live audience, whether they're online or whether they're in a club, you are presenting an audio experience that needs to reflect the tastes of your buyers. If you are in tune with them, they will respond. If you're not, they'll also respond by walking off the dance floor. So that to me is like the crux of, are you effective as someone who is building a brand as a seller? The DJ in this case is the seller, and they are trying to sell their vision of what they think would bring pleasure and bring joy to this population. So if we keep that in mind as business professionals, are we bringing benefits to our prospective customers? Are we making the money, saving the money? Are we improving their lives? Are we bringing them joy? Are we making them feel safe? Are we helping them feel better about themselves? That is a good barometer to use when you are trying to determine what your goal is, and then you come up with the plan to make it happen.
I love what you said just right there, Rafe, with one thing that you mentioned that I want to emphasize. You listening to not just the good, but also the bad, like where they didn't like it, they're not responding. I think a lot of companies sort of, I see this with a lot of engineer-led or technical-led companies that focus a lot on product, but maybe not as much as they should on the marketing side. They sort of figure they'll build through the problem, or it's like, well, why aren't customers understanding how awesome our product is? Well, clearly we just need to repeat ourselves or say it louder. And it's like, no,
No.
maybe you can take it from there.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you an experience I had. I was working at a radio station, and I had a late night music show on there, and the radio station was going through some changes with the format of the music they wanted to play, and it wasn't working very well. They were coming up with all of these poor choices based on what they wanted to do and what they felt was good. And when they got the ratings were in the toilet, and they called an all hands meeting. And the conclusion that they came to, and Jonathan, this is right in line with what you just said, and I swear this is what happened. The conclusion was, our audience hates music. It's their fault. It's their fault.
Well, let's double down.
Right, and they did, and they eventually went out of business, and everyone lost their job. So, but it's just a classic example that if you think the solution is to shout louder, or that it's not your fault, then you're done. You're toast. You deserve to be out of work, because you do not deserve to serve these people.
Well, I love that. I think one other thing that your experience as a DJ, I think this is a bit of a contrast with companies where, like, you're getting the direct feedback, you're seeing what's working, what's not working in the instant. But companies have a marketing department, a sales department, and where I see a breakdown is often marketing is listening to what customers are saying, but are they passing this on to sales? Is sales passing that information on to the people building the product?
Exactly.
And is it going around?
Yeah. If it's not, then bye-bye. But that is the goal with this free flow of information, constant learning, constant buffing, constant improving. This is what they said. Is this usable? How can we make it work? And that's a healthy organization. That's an organization that, as a PR professional, you can't wait to jump out of bed in the morning to work with, because it's exciting and it's fun. But then when you're working with folks who are, no, we're good. Yeah. No. Look, did you look at our CVs? Did you look at our LinkedIn profiles? Did you see how awesome we are? Enough said. That's drudgery, working with people like that.
100%. Can I tell you a very quick story on that from my early days in my
Love to.
one of my first roles in marketing, and I remember so I was hired as a writer, and I was going to I didn't know much about the company, to be honest, or their product. So I was like, all right, where do I find out more? Like, what do the customers want? What's selling? What's in demand? What's not? I want to talk to some of our service providers, and the person in charge of me was like, "Are you crazy? That we would charge these guys out at 300, 400, 500 bucks an hour. You don't get to talk to them." I was like, how do I find out what we do? And she's they say here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to our nearest competitors' websites, and you're gonna look at what they have, and what you like, you're gonna take and you're gonna rewrite it. And I said, who are our competitors? Anyways,
Oh man, yeah.
yeah,
The wisdom.
yeah. So
Are they
silos
still
are
in business?
lethal. Yeah.
Are
Sorry.
these folks still in? Are they still in business? These folks that
Oh
you just
yeah, well
mentioned.
they fortunately they did adapt, and
Okay.
I wore them down to adopt certain practices.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Consistency pays off.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
gotta love that. Okay, well, I'm just jumping in here again to switch topics and switch gears. This has been an awesome one. Thank you so much, Rafe, for kicking us off on that. I'm eager to get into paid media versus earned media. Earlier, I said owned media, which if you don't know the difference, so earned media would be like getting placed in some publication because you earned that media. Owned media is media you create. Like we're creating this live stream, so this is owned media. We own it here at Reveting. And then paid media, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You're paying for it. So Jonathon, can you kick us off on this topic?
I absolutely will. So this sort of goes back a little bit to the AI is the thing you need to be discovered on now topic from earlier. So with AI likes the earned media. It likes the owned media. It's not a big fan of the paid media. It likes what's organic, what seems to be authentic. So this comes up now. This is going to seem a little self-serving because we focus on the earned media side of things. We pitch journalists, actual reporters, all day long, and creative pitch to the right reporter at the right time. Be persistent. That gets results. That's how we work. People, some companies are leery of that approach because they're like, hold on, are you telling me like it depends on how successful you are with pitching these reports? Like, what if you're not successful? And well, the answer is in about 8 years of running the agency, there have been about 2 months where we didn't get results. So and we did get results for those clients in month 2. Often from wins we got in week 2, week 3, they show up in week 5, week 6. So sometimes it can be a slow start, rarely, but typically, yeah, you like we're delivering say 4 or 5 pieces of media coverage a month, sometimes double, triple, depending on the package and how intrinsically newsworthy the client is. But what's the difference? What is paid media? This is again, I'm being a little self-serving here because we don't focus on that. This is where you buy an article that you write and you send in. It's an advertorial, effectively, or a paid writer writes under the table, and it kind of looks sort of like an actual story, but it's often not. Number one, not great quality, and also it just well, like I said before, the AI doesn't really cotton to that kind of content, and so the I think the attraction is it seems cheap and easy, but if you're not getting discovered, then kind of what's the point? Wasn't it all about building credibility and trust so that you can get more sales in the door, more partnerships, more investment? So this is why I think earned media is the route to go. And anyways, that's how I see it. That's how I run the business.
Absolutely. And I'm with you. I am also biased. And yeah, paid media is, it is what it is. And there's a lot of tricksters out there. Once I became a CMO and then a founder, you get all these cold emails from people being like, hey, I want to put you in my article. I want to have you on the front page of this magazine. Your founder, your CEO at that company, they should be in Forbes every single week. Different things like that. Forbes is a big one that I think of, which, they have a good name at least. Like if you're going to be like a Forbes writer, but again, it's still a pay to play sort of situation where you're writing the article and you're paying for it. It's not like complete earned. I would argue that owned media helps you get earned media because that helps you build your credibility. Because I think both are very important. You do need earned media. Owned media is just a method to build credibility, in my opinion, to get there. But yeah, I don't know. What's your take on that? And like, who do you think of like as like the cliche paid media opportunities, Jonathon?
Well, the paid media opportunities that actually I think might have some value, like Forbes, not bad.
Right.
Entrepreneur program, Inc. program, not bad. But you actually can get in there. Like we have a client that's they're an awesome market leader in their field of technology, and they got a column. They have a regular column in Inc. magazine now. No payment required. They're in.
Nice.
So there are some venues where it's cool, but I would take a quick look at what is the actual outlet that you're getting into, because often it's like it's not the Wall Street Journal, it's not the New York Times, it's the New York Journal, and it's like wait, hold on, is that a real thing? It's
The
been
font
around.
is very similar.
Yeah. It's not the San Francisco Herald, it's the San Francisco Liberty Bell or something like that. It's like, that kind of looks good. And yes, at a glance, it can trick some people. But again, isn't the objective more credibility, more trust? You're an expert talking to real people, and that's how you get more sales in the door. So, it's sort of like, what's the objective here? And let's not waste time, maybe.
Yeah,
I find that
definitely.
the paid stuff has a stench about it. The stench of me. I'm awesome. Oh yeah. Whoa. And there's nothing wrong with anything I do or say. Let me tell you about it. And the earned media is you. It's information that is useful to you. It's educational. It's valuable. But the paid stuff, man, it just reeks.
Well,
Yeah.
part of the reason it looks like a vanity play is when it comes to the paid media, the reason they like the people who go for the paid media have trust issues in the first place. So often they do want their internal team to write it, or you actually have a founder writing their own stuff, and they're not a communications
Oh,
PR person, and they
yeah.
just they tell their story where they're the hero, and there's no conflict, there's no drama, there's just it's just I'm great. Isn't that awesome? That I'm
I'm
great?
flawless, and you should know about this. Why aren't you screaming to know about this?
Yeah. So again, earned media, owned media, these are great things to be using to build your brand.
Absolutely, 100%. And be careful of those pitch slaps. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Yes, I mean, there's people who want to put you on TV. They want to make you feel like you're so special, but just make sure you ask them, is there a price tag for this? But yes, anyway, I think that concludes all 4 topics. Can't believe it. So we now just have Guru of the Week, and then we want to hear a little bit more from both of our guests before we conclude. So let's play that Guru of the Week. Ooh, the Guru of the Week. Ooh. All right. Let us know who walks the walk and talks the talk on LinkedIn, or what influencers do you follow that inspire both of you?
I guess I'll kick off. So my friend Denny Hollick, and I'm not just calling him out because he's a friend, but he's a very smart marketing guy, and more recently started building technical and product skills, and got on the AI bandwagon. And the reason I was thinking of him is he has an excellent way of of teaching and in real time. Like he was doing webinars, and he's still doing them on how to build a product in Claude right now. Like let's build it. Let's figure out an idea, build it in 20 minutes. Let's do this. Learn through doing. So he's quickly become a guru in the technical aspects of go-to-market and Claude. And anyways, he puts out great content, and he's a very smart guy.
The fellow who I really enjoy watching and learning from is not a business guy per se, but everything that he talks about is understandable and validates a lot of the ideas and thoughts of good management and good logistics. A guy named John Kiriakou. He's a former CIA agent, and he spent time in prison because he was a whistleblower of the CIA's torture program in the post Kuwait invasion times. But he tells stories about his experience in the CIA, experiences in prison, just an incredible amount of learning and knowledge and fascinating stories. But a lot of it has to do with interactions, personal interactions, incompetence or competence in an organizational setting, and just really strong storytelling skills. Even from that point of view, he is such a phenomenal storyteller. So anybody who is in the communications business would learn by the way he expresses himself and just keeps it flowing and keeps it fascinating. So that's my guy.
Awesome.
By the way, I wanted to comment about what Jonathon said about the paid media. I think of it as empty carbs, the paid media stuff. It tastes good at the time, but after a while, well, what did I just do? This is garbage. I've got no nutritional benefit from this. And the people who invest in it, if they truly believe that it's going to influence someone to say, "Oh my God, I've got to spend money with you," there's some delusion going on there. But anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Rafe, I love that you added that. And, thanks to your audience, we've got a lot of people tuning in from your Twitch page. Thanks for being here. Which, speaking of, at the end, we like to ask both of you a little bit more about yourself, who you serve, how you serve them, and if they could be served by you, how do they reach you? But I do have that video you sent pre-show for 9 seconds. I'm going to play.
Yeah, this is my weekly Twitch. No, unfortunately, just me.
Okay.
This is my weekly Twitch DJ live stream. It's a recreation of a nightclub that existed in Manhattan called Danceteria. It existed from 1979 to 1986, and it's a place. It was a 5-store club, and it was a really special location because a lot of very important people started their careers there before they made it big. Jean-Michel Basquiat, the artist, was a mural painter there. Keith Haring, the artist, was a waiter. The Beastie Boys were janitors. LL Cool J was the doorman. And the person who operated the manual elevator, because it was a 5-floor former warehouse, was Madonna. So it was an amazing place. I snuck in as a 16-year-old kid with a fake ID, and it blew my little mind seeing all of this going on. And what I do every Thursday night is I recreate the music that was played at this club. And it was very exciting because it was so diverse. It was disco, punk, funk, reggae, Latin stuff, bubblegum, and they all, every single night, it was all this stuff mixed together. It was incredible. So I tracked down the original DJ playlists, and I take you on this journey, this theater of the mind. You are there, 1982, Danceteria, every Thursday night, 8 to 10 EST on Twitch. And it's just a lot of fun. And I apply a lot of the business stuff of audience building and serving customers in what I do with Danceteria. So it's a great story to tell prospective customers, and it keeps me sane during the week.
Nice. I like that a lot. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm gonna have to tune into your channel. I did follow.
Move your furniture to the wall, Jessie L, because you're gonna be moving.
Yeah, and theater of the mind. I love that saying too. So I'm all here for that. Jonathon, how about you? Could you tell us more about you, who you serve, how you serve them, and if they could be served by you, how do they reach you?
Sure. So I am the founder and CEO of Meld PR. We make tech companies famous. We've been doing this for 8 years now. We get great results. Clients love working with us. What else can I tell you? I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. Very, very searchable. I'm always saying wacky things on LinkedIn and elsewhere, so you can find my spicy comments around. Oh, and I should say, if you want to take a look at the results we can get, like I don't know if you're familiar with the phrase, we eat our own dog food. The same techniques we use to get our clients into the news, we get us into the news. So that's, you can see us in the Wall Street Journal or Forbes or I got a Daily Tribune hit, I think, the other day about
Wow.
this PR commentary about Meghan Markle and her latest scandal. So I like to dabble.
That's
We eat
awesome.
our own
Very
dog
cool.
food. I'm stealing that from you, man.
Eat your
So,
own dog food.
yeah. So mymeldpr.com.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing. And audience, you've just met two new awesome people. Go follow them on LinkedIn or Twitch. Rafe is on Twitch as well, with a very active and large community. Shout out to anyone on Twitch who's listening in on Rafe's page still. Sounds like you're going to have an awesome show tomorrow. But other than that, this has been another really great episode of WinsDay. We will be back next week with 2 more really interesting guests. But until then, I hope you all have a great week. We'll close this out with a